this. I'm really doing this. If it ain't one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be proud of myself, baby. I'm gonna start a new venture and I'm gonna be proud. So what's going on, you guys? I was getting ready to do my YouTube intro. um, so my name is Ashley, and I am here on In Actuality, the podcast, the newest podcast coming to you on all podcasts, anywhere that you can get your podcast. So we talking Apple Music, we talking Spotify, and all the works. So if you know me, if you don't know me, I'm gonna tell you who I am. My name is Ashley. I go by Ashley Tamara on the internet. So that is the Ashley Tamara on all social media platforms, primarily Instagram and TikTok. I am also on YouTube. Again, the Ashley Tamara is my channel name. If you follow me on any one of my social media platforms, you probably follow me on 2 to 3 of them. So you know a little bit about me, you know a little bit about my personality. And I bet you could have guessed that a podcast was on its way. I just want to introduce myself a little bit on this first episode and tell you guys a little bit of why I wanted to start a podcast and how I came up with In Actuality. Okay, so like I said, my name is Ashley. Today is actually my birthday, so In Actuality, the podcast is coming to all podcast platforms near you on my birthday. So this is a birthday present to myself. Okay, I am an Aries. 321 starts Aries. It starts the astrological year. So yes, I have a big head. Yes, I'm a fire sign, and yes, I'm gonna trailblaze and do what I do, and you cannot tell me nothing about that. Okay, I am a wife. I am a mother. I am an entrepreneur. I am educated AF. Okay, I have a master's degree. So we are going to talk a little bit about everything on this podcast, including intellectual topics. I have a sociology background, so I will absolutely be bringing theory onto this podcast. I'm not just up here talking to talk like everybody else with a podcast. Just got a mic, got a camera, and talking shit. Nah, I mean, yeah, but no. I'm not gonna do that like that. But that's a little bit about me, and let me get into In Actuality, okay? I've been listening to and watching podcasts for about a year now. I first started listening to podcasts when B. Simone and her best friend Megan Ashley dropped their podcast, Know For Sure, on, all the podcast platforms back on B's birthday last year, 2022, which is why I got the idea to drop my podcast on my birthday, 321. Okay. But yeah, so I started listening to and watching podcasts because of B's podcast, B and Megan, because over the years, I have enjoyed B. Simone's journey, the ups and the downs. And I always liked Megan and like their vlogs when she did come in, but it was something about the way Megan spoke and the way she carried herself and the messages that she was giving that was like, damn, that's crazy. How every single time I listen to a podcast, you really talking to me and telling me the things that I need to hear. And I knew that, well, I've known this for some years, that I've had that power as well with a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of people that I deal with in personal settings and professional settings. That's something that comes up often. That's something that I'm told often. And I wanted to do that with YouTube, which is kind of why I started my YouTube channel. But I'm starting to take my channel in a different way. So I wanted a different platform to be able to have the conversations that I actually want to have, which is a little bit of controversial things and to really get into some intellectual topics. And I figured a podcast would be a better place to do that because this is a platform for actual conversations. This is a platform for things to actually, I guess you would say, like, come into fruition a little bit more, because YouTube is very visual, it's very entertainment versus getting to the nitty gritty of certain topics and pushing to actually impact the masses. I feel like you can do that more from a podcast than you can from a YouTube video. So that's what I wanted to do with In Actuality. I want to touch on relevant topics that will actually be pushing, the folks forward instead of beating a dead horse with some of the age-old topics like women should do this, men should do that. We're gonna talk about that, but Jesus, y'all be beating a dead horse with that mess. Oh my God. But I want to get to the nitty-gritty of a lot of things that our generation is dealing with. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have notes. And if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it right? So, excuse me. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty of the things that our generation is actually dealing with. And I want to highlight Black experiences, because if you were listening to this, well, I mean, if you listen to this, you probably could tell, but if you're listening to this and you're not watching the visual, I am a Black woman, okay? And I embody all things that is a Black woman. And I feel like even though we have lots of spaces nowadays where Black experiences are highlighted, I mean, truthfully, there could always be one more. There could always be one more, because just because it ain't broke don't mean that you can't fix it. Don't mean that you can't improve on it. And yeah, so that's just what I'm trying to do. Just sprinkle a little bit more in there, because why not? Black excellence is everything. So, how did In Actuality come into fruition? I think I spoke about this a little bit already, but I basically I figured that a podcast would be a better platform to have real conversations, getting down to the actual foundation or the beginning causes of a lot of issues that our generation deals with. It's better to do that in a podcast platform rather than a video entertainment type thing like YouTube. And I will have podcast visuals. Like if you're listening to this, there's a visual on YouTube. You can go to my YouTube, the Ashley Tamara, and you can see it there. So there will be podcast visuals, but that's not going to be the primary focus. So yeah, I want to have conversations. I want to talk about real stuff. This is the place to do it. So this is where I'm going to do it. And there's also a rule on YouTube. If you curse too much on YouTube now or in a certain part of the video or something like that, they demonetize you. And I don't have time for that. Okay, I'm not even monetized yet. I still want to get monetized. So if I'm, going off at the mouth how I want to be going off at the mouth, YouTube is not the place to do that. It's just not the place to do that. Okay? So, like I said, I want to talk about real stuff, real topics, and a lot of that has to do with me coming from an academia background. So, like I said, I got my master's in sociology. I actually got my bachelor's and master's in sociology. And I have a brain for I look at the world through a sociological lens. I look at people's interactions and how people's interactions on an individual level impact things on the macro scale and vice versa. And that's just how I look at the world. And I feel like a lot of theories in sociology, a lot of concepts, sociological concepts and constructs and stuff like that really are the fields is not the right word. They're really like the realms in which we kind of maneuver through the world. And I feel like there are not a lot of sociologists in the public eye talking about this stuff to the masses or with the masses. And they talk about sociology. Sociology is a type of discipline that is groomed for students to become professors and to stay in academia. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be nobody professor, at least not now. And sociology really has a lot of frameworks that can benefit society, but it can't benefit the masses if the experts are only talking to people in academia. That is a small percentage of people. Like, everybody is not in academia. So all the stuff that could help society, y'all are keeping it to like, I don't know what this percentage is, but I'm gonna say like 30. Y'all are keeping it to the same 30% that are actively learning it, as opposed to sharing it with the 70% who actually need it to get better. And I think that's whack. So I want to be one of them people. For example, whether you know or not, I'm gonna give y'all a nugget. Look up Tressie McMillan Cottom. She went viral, I think, 2022. I think it was 2022 for her theory and concept. I don't. It's not a theory. Her concept and her thinking about blonde women. And she made a TikTok, and her account got banned. She is an active public intellectual. She is a sociologist. She is a former professor of mine. I actually really love her. And she was the MacArthur Genius, like got the MacArthur Genius Grant. She's super smart. She is what I want to do in time. She is bringing sociology and actual concepts and thinkings to the masses in a way that is digestible and not full of jargon. And I mean, a lot of people follow her work. And when I met her, when I was her student, she had like 5K followers on Instagram. That lady has like over 100, I think, over 100,000. And it's been like 5 years. But what she does is what I want to do. So go look into her, look a little bit about her, and you'll get a taste of what I'm trying to bring to you guys with In Actuality, the podcast. The difference is she is a writer. I'm not a writer. I am a talker. I'm a talker. I outline and I speak. I don't write. So just so we're clear. That is pretty much what I want to do with you guys. That's what I want In Actuality, the podcast, to be. I want to have meaningful conversations. I want to talk about hot topics, pressing topics, controversial topics. I'm here. I'm with the shits. So I want to talk about it all. And I can guarantee that you will learn something new with every single episode. I bet money that you will learn something new in every single episode. So we are gonna have, I'm gonna start this, but I think I'm gonna start this on episode 2. At some point during the podcast, I want you to comment one thing new that you learned. It can be actually intellectual, or it can be a little bit funny, because sometimes you just learn random facts, okay? And that's okay too. So that's a little bit of taste of what In Actuality is going to be. So I do want to get into the very first topic, like the real first topic of In Actuality podcast. And I already been talking for about almost 15 minutes. So I'm a try to manage it. okay? Because when I start talking about this, I can get a little bit winded. But we're not here for that right now, okay? Because it's only me. I don't know how much you actually want to hear me talk, so we just gonna pace it. We gonna go by ear, okay? We gonna go by ear. It's fine. But anyway, the first real topic of In Actuality, the podcast, is being your authentic self. Being your authentic self, man. Now, I feel like a lot of people just made a face like, being your authentic self. Like, why does everybody be talking about this? Like, what do y'all mean being your authentic self? Like, who else are you supposed to be? What you mean? Who else you supposed to be? I feel like that's what some of y'all are saying. And the actuality of the situation is that, you see what I did there? You see what I did there? No, but really, the actuality of it is when you are not in solitude, when you are with anybody, any person, even if it's only one person, you are performing. And in doing this performance, it's like when you wear the different hats. That's the best example I can give. If you are a student at the school, the performance that you're putting on in that moment is a student. If you are with a sibling, the hat that you're wearing, the performance that you're giving is either a brother or a sister or sibling, because we're inclusive here. If you are with a parent or a guardian, the performance that you're giving is a son, a daughter, or a child. And when you do that, you have yourself that you present, and that can still be your real self. But what I want to talk about is being who you are when no one is around you, and allowing that person to be free enough to break through the performances that you give, even when you're performing. So, I know that might be a little bit confusing, but I feel like being your authentic self can be a little nerve-wracking, depending on who you are, depending on what friends you have, what relationship you're in, the relationships that you have with your family, and co-workers and stuff like that. It really depends on the people that you have around you and how you can allow yourself to be your authentic self. And not only does it slightly depend on the people around you, it depends on how much you actually know the person you are when you're not performing. And I feel like, and this might be controversial, we might be getting into it already, I feel like a lot of people do not allow themselves or are not comfortable with actually learning the person behind the performances. Like, they're not comfortable being in their own company all the time. So learning that person when you're not with anyone else is really difficult if you never have time to learn that person. You know what I'm saying? Or like if you used to know that person, but now because of the people you're around, you lost them. You have no idea where they are. You have no idea what they like. And I feel like people get lost a little bit in the cycle of the performances and switching one hat to another and just going and going and going on go. And the only time that they get is when they're in the shower sometimes, or when they're getting ready to go to sleep. And still, sometimes it's like, at what point are you alone and you don't feel like lonely? Like, at what point are you alone and you are happy in your own company? You are comfortable in your own company. You have the time, or give yourself the time. You make time to learn the things that you like again. You learn the things that you want to do again. You learn the things that make you happy again. When do you get an opportunity to do that? When do you take the time to do that? And I think that it's I don't know, man. I think that's a that's wild as hell, because a lot of people really are not comfortable in their own company. And I feel like you have to be comfortable in who you are in order to be your authentic self, while you are also playing your roles. Does that make sense? Like, you can be who you are even though you're playing the role of the student, you're playing the role of the teacher, you're playing the role of the sibling, or whoever. You're playing the role of employee. You can be who you are without totally abandoning them. But you have to get to know them first. If you don't know them, you're gonna lose them every time. You're just gonna be putting on in another podcast that I was listening to, they had brought up the concept of a representative, the person who you project to kind of protect you. Is the person who you project to the world. This is your representative. This is the person who you have created to be you, to take the things that you were supposed to take. But if you don't know the core of you and you always have the representative ahead of you, that representative, you get lost in that because you have no idea what's behind it. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Comment if I'm making sense. Let me know if I'm making sense, okay? And Jesus, my little headphones that came off. Lord. But anyway, I feel like when it comes to being your authentic self, doing that can be very difficult if you're not, like I said, if you're not comfortable if you're not comfortable in your own company. Another reason, or not another reason, but I guess something to help you kind of embody being your authentic self is making the time to be in your own company, taking the time to learn what you like and what you dislike, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, being able and actively saying no to things that you don't want to do or you are not comfortable with. When you are learning to be your authentic self, I tell you what, saying no, that's the best tool in your toolbox. That is the best. No becomes your best friend. Or I don't want to, or because you don't always have to make an excuse either. You could just say no, that's not something that I'm interested in. I don't really want to do that. And voicing your opinions and listening to what you actually want to do instead of worrying about what might impact everyone else. You know what I'm saying? I have been on a journey of allowing my authentic self to come through, and not just come through, but really shine through, because I'm a star, okay? I might not be a movie star, but baby, I'm a star. And when you see me, you cannot doubt that, okay? Shamelessly, I don't even care, okay? I'm really top notch. And I have been on a journey to rediscover my authentic self for years. And I still don't know her all the way. And I still don't embrace her all the way all the time. But the little steps that I have taken have made such a huge impact in the last couple of years. Things that I have implemented let me give you a couple things that I have implemented. The first thing that I have implemented, like I just said, is saying no. No, I don't really think I can do that. No, I don't really want to do that. I don't have the capacity to do that. Saying no. Second thing is trusting myself. Trusting what I have to offer, trusting what I don't, trusting what I can do, and trusting what I can't. I have to trust myself before I can think or expect anyone to put any type of trust in me. Because how are you supposed to trust me to do this, and I don't even trust my own self to do that? What the heck? What the hell is that? I cannot do that. Are you crazy? Absolutely not. Okay? We can't do that. So we got saying no. We have trusting yourself. And I think the last and one of the most important things that I've implemented over the last couple of years and truly embracing my authentic self is speaking up for myself, using my voice, because I have a big one, and it's not just because I'm loud. I have a voice that projects. I have a voice that I can use. I have a voice that people listen to when I use it. Nobody's gonna listen to me. Nobody can hear me if I don't use my voice. If I need help, nobody can know that I need help unless I say that I need help. If I need time, nobody's gonna know that I need time unless I say that I need time. Y'all get the point. If I'm not speaking up, I'm gonna get passed over. And that's for a lot of reasons, some of which including, the strong black woman stereotype. I'm just saying, I do not get checked on as much as some, as other people, because I kind of usually keep my stuff together. Usually, I frequently have mental breakdowns, but that's besides the point. I usually keep my stuff together, and people don't usually have to worry about me and how I am, like in life, really. So if I don't speak up to say, hey, I need help, hey, I need this, hey, I need time, hey, I don't want to do that, if I'm not using my voice, it's more than likely I'm gonna get looked over. So if you're not using your voice to express your dislikes of something, or to express that you really, really like something and you want something, it's a good chance that I can get glossed over. And when I say that, for whatever reason, I actually had black women in mind, but I don't mean just for black women. I literally mean anybody. If you're not speaking your mind, people are not mind readers. And a lot of times they're not looking to figure out what the fuck you need. So if you need something, you need to say it. And I just learned that, in the last couple of years. And I think that helped me embrace who I am on the inside and allow her to blossom and show through the different hats that I wear and the different roles that I occupy. Because now I can be Ashley while I'm a student. I'm not just the student whose name is Ashley. I am Ashley, who is currently a student at the moment. I am Ashley, who is currently a sister at the moment. I am Ashley, who's currently the friend at the moment. I'm Ashley, who's currently the wife at the moment. I'm Ashley, who's currently mommy at the moment. Okay? I have allowed myself, and let's be clear, I am still on that motherfucking journey. Okay? I'm still on the journey. That shit is not easy, and this is a work in progress. But I have learned to embrace who I am regardless of the environment, because there is nobody else in the world who's gonna do anything like me. There's nobody else on this planet like me. There's not a single person. Some people might be similar, some people might do things similar to the way that I do it, but nobody's going to do it the exact same way that I am. Nobody's going to be the exact same way that I am. Nobody's going to carry themselves the exact same way that I do. And I think that that's a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, there's nobody else. There's 8 billion plus people in this world, and there is nobody else in this world who is exactly like you. You are literally one of a kind. So why are you hiding it? Nobody else is the same as anybody else in this whole entire world. So why are you scared or nervous or anxious about walking in your authenticity? Why are you anxious about standing in who you are wholeheartedly? And like, I understand why. That's definitely a rhetorical question. I understand why. It's scary. It's nerve-wracking, because you think that people don't want to see you. They just want to see what you have been showing. Or they don't want to learn you. They just want what you have been giving them. And in reality, in all actuality, that's not true. People want to see who you are. People want to get to know the things that you actually like and the things that you actually don't like. People want to be able to be there for you in the way that you actually need it. But if you don't know what you need, or you don't know how they can be there for you, now everybody lost, because you don't know who that person is behind the representative or behind the performance that you have put on. So I just feel like I just feel like, and I actually, let me say this. I have noticed on social media, because of my feed, because of who I follow and the feed that I have curated, there are a lot of people, bloggers, vloggers, wellness coaches, or other people who are trying to be better for themselves and be their own favorite person. I've noticed a shift in the way that people are showing up online, and they are showing more of the little things that bring them joy. They are showing the little realities of, like, being a business owner, or being a person, just being a person who happens to have a social media account. Not a blogger, not a influencer, just a person who likes social media. They're showing the behind. They're starting to show who they are, and I feel like that movement, whatever that is it provides a pathway or a road for people to get permission, I guess. It provides like I don't know how to explain that, but it's like a way of giving other people permission to accept the fact that who you are behind your roles is good enough, regardless of what the internet got to say about it, regardless of what these other people got to say about it. It's good enough. And I think that that's beautiful. So if that's not what you see on your timeline, baby, you need to recurate your timeline. I'm just saying, because I see that all the time. I see it every day. And because I actually curated my timeline to be that, it helped me on my journey, because I'm not always on social media, but I'm heavily on social media. And it's honestly because I like it. I like it. I like seeing what people are doing. I like seeing the artwork on it. I like seeing the fashions on it. I like seeing how people are bettering themselves, and what tools can I take to try to better myself, I love that. So that's why my feet look like that. But I think that if you have been putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and this is not advice, because I don't give advice, and when I do, it's always a disclaimer. Do what you want to do. I'm just saying, okay? That's it. Do what you want to do. I'm just saying that this is my thoughts. This is what I think. I think that we should take a minute at some point during the day and give ourselves permission to do something that we enjoy just because we enjoy it. Whether that be a bath just because you want a bath, whether that be an extra snack, or you're at the grocery store and I don't need that snack, but you want it, get yourself the snack. It's okay. Okay? And it's like, treat yourself just because you are yourself. But it doesn't have to be a treat. You deserve to do things and to have things that you like just because you like it. Like, that is okay. And I cannot express or explain how many people I've come across that like, oh yeah, I want this, but I don't really need it. And they talk themselves out of things that they want because like it's almost like it's been conditioned that just because you want it doesn't mean that you need it. And while that's true, that also doesn't mean that you can't have it. Like, at this point, as an adult, I frequently have to remind myself that I'm grown. I can literally do anything that I want to do. I don't have a single person to tell me no. I can do what I want to do. You can't say nothing to me about it, okay? Like, what? You can do what you want. You can have what you want. You don't have to talk yourself out of it. And it's okay. If that's what you want, that's because that is who you are that wants that. That is okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think that showing up as your authentic self is very difficult for a lot of people, and I think that it's very anxiety inducing, and it really can be super nerve-wracking, and I think that it's really, really sad because it shouldn't be. And we have to present ourselves and perform in all of these different ways every single day, all day in society, and at the end of the day, we really literally have like 20 to 30 minutes to ourselves if we're waking up at 7 and have to be to work at 8 or 8:30. Like, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that, when you wake up, you got like maybe 30 minutes to yourself, and then you got to get ready for work. And then when you get home, you have like maybe 10 to 30 minutes before you go to bed. And that's insane to me. That is insanity. We spend the greatest majority of our time performing for somebody else instead of being able to get to know who we are. And that's only, it's only, what is the word? Exacerbated? I don't know. It's only made worse when the relationships in our lives are not, are more straining. They require us to be even more performative. They don't always allow your authentic self to come through. And personally, I think it's gross. I think it's terrible. I think it's a terrible thing, and that's whack as hell. It really is. But in actuality, your authentic self is who you are when you're in your own company. And I feel like we should take the time and make the time to get to know who that person is. And I would guarantee if everybody did that, I think the world would be a better place. I think that's a really big call, especially for this to be on the first episode. But I think I'm right, and I don't think I can be challenged on that. I mean, that's just inviting problems, but whatever. But yeah, so I'm going to end the first episode of the podcast there. I think that was a pretty good conversation for the first one. Yeah, what'd you think? Tell me in the comments. What'd you think it was? I think it was alright. I think it was alright, and I'm feeling pretty good. I am. Wow. I'm not even gonna lie. This is really nerve wracking. And I almost feel a little bit crazy talking on a microphone in a room by my lonesome. But this is almost therapeutic because I've been having these thoughts about authenticity and showing up as your authentic self for a long ass time. And now I finally get to just put them out in the world, So I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. I hope that you subscribe to In Actuality on all podcasting platforms, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I hope that you go on this journey with me. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you share your thoughts as well, because I do definitely want to grow a community here where we talk about real shit. We get down to the nitty-gritty of that shit, and we have intellectual conversations about that shit too. So again, thank you all for listening. This has been wow. I'm really proud of myself. I really am. But this this has been your girl Ashley Tamara with In Actuality, the podcast, and we gonna call it. I'll see y'all in next week's episode, and I'm gonna drop every Tuesday. Again, this is the first episode, March 21st. Today is my birthday. Please go say happy birthday because I love that. Thank you. And I'll see y'all next week.